Greetings, everyone. I can speak on my experiences. I cannot speak on yours. And so I want you to bear that in mind. The things I'm about to say, these are my opinion, and you can express yours, okay? But I'm going to ask you not to bring judgment to it, okay? All right, then. So I get the same question over and over again, and I decided to wait until today to answer these questions. Today is my 15th wedding anniversary. This year marks 16 years since I've been in a relationship with my partner. And, sometimes people ask, what is the secret to your lasting marriage? But rather than ask what's the secret to my lasting marriage, and this is a second marriage for me, and the last one lasted 15 years, as tumultuous as that was. And I'm going to say that over the years, I've noticed one thing. The focus should not be on marriage itself or the relationship itself, but if you're a female, knowing that your relationship will last based on how much you understand men, not just your man, but the species of men, okay? And so the views that I'm expressing here are my views, and you don't have to agree with them. But I'm going to say to you, I'm going to ask a few questions in this video. And one of the questions I'm going to ask you is, have you ever seen an animal that stays faithful to one female? So whether it be a dog or a cow, or you look into nature and you look and see what is natural. So I'm going to say here right off the bat that the likelihood of a man being faithful to one woman for his entire life is something that is to be desired. It's to be desired, but it's not natural. It is not natural. Okay? So if you've been in a marriage for 20 or 30 years, the likelihood that you are not the first woman and the last woman for that man is 100-fold. So, can a man be faithful? Absolutely. Can a man stay with one woman? Absolutely. But it's not natural. It's not nature. It's choice. So, would I want my partner to be faithful to me? Absolutely. Will my partner stay faithful? There's a question mark. That's not to say that the person cannot be. I'm just saying that when a person decides to stay faithful to their partner, it's a personal choice. Now, a woman can stay with one man for her entire life and never cheat. And it's not very difficult to do that. It's not difficult for one to stay faithful. But the way a woman is wired is different from the way a man is wired. And therefore, we are not condoning men going out to cheat, because I said it's choice. It's a choice to remain faithful, not one that is written into nature. But we are also going to say that because we were born in the Western Hemisphere, it seems natural that a man and a woman get together and they stay together forever, and that man, stay faithful to his partner. In certain places like Africa, we hear people throwing around the word polygamy. And it's not like you're saying polygamy is better. I'm just saying, based on where you come from, that wouldn't even be an issue if you come from a culture where you are used to seeing men having several wives living in the same compound. That doesn't mean the women are all getting along great, because again, we're going to look at individual nature. So it's not that that system is better than the one we have. We're just discussing what is natural and what is our choice to remain faithful. Here's something you need to understand about the male species. If a man is going to love you, he cannot love you with restraints. When a man understands that he's free, he was free to enter the relationship and is free to leave, that's what makes the difference. So in my own relationships, I've always allowed the men to understand that there's a door that comes in and there's a door to go out. And so if you are in a relationship with me, it is by choice, not force. I don't believe in forcing anybody to love me. I don't believe in anyone being forced to love anyone. That is not natural either. So when a man understands that he has a choice to be with you and a choice to leave, there's nothing more alluring, nothing more sexy than that to a man. No man is going to just fall in love with you because you're beautiful and stay in love with you for that reason. No man is going to stay with you because you're wealthy or will stay with you for that reason, or all the other excuses that we are given as to why a man stays with a woman. A woman can be very sexy and you can be swinging on the chandelier. If a man is going to cheat on you, there's nothing you can do. He's going to cheat on you with a woman that he's ashamed to be seen with. So that's why, men go out and they have affairs, and if their partner found out, they'd be devastated, but they do it anyway. So those who don't do it know that they're allowed to do it. And when I say allowed, they're free. We don't own anybody. No one owns us. They have freedom of choice as they chose to love us and to decide to walk this journey with us. They can choose to change their mind about that. And so for me personally, I would not want someone to stay with me if they don't want to be with me. I can't love someone who doesn't love me. And I cannot be in a relationship with someone who would rather be somewhere else. And so my partner understands this, that your body is yours. It's your temple. And you rule over it. I don't. And so for me, the lesson would be, whatever you decide to do with your body, make sure you're sharing it with somebody that if I could not live with the fact that you have done that, you're going to be happy either way. Men love choices. A man will love a woman who knows that he is free to go if he chooses. Men don't like bondage. They don't like shackles, especially black men, because our history, it's still in our DNA. Not that we were born to be enslaved, but we've had that history, and it has been a memory that has been passed down from one generation to the next. So what I'm going to say to you ladies is that when you meet somebody, you need to have that conversation. What are you looking for? What are your long-term goals? What do you expect from your partnership? But more than anything, you have to make it very clear that no one is holding you down. No one is tying you in this relationship. What you choose to do with your own body is your choice. So my relationship has been predicated on this, that freedom to go when he's ready, if his spirit moves him. And I think everything has, just to loosely say, a shelf life. Even in relationships. So if a relationship is not meant to last forever, it is not going to last forever. So as long as there's mutual respect, as long as love is there, and not the kind of love where people say, I love you. In my household, the word I love you is exchanged, and it's a very spiritual one. But for many years, my husband couldn't tell me I love you because I didn't want to hear it. I would say, I don't want to hear it. Don't ever say that to me. show it to me. Love for me is not words, it's action. So, mutual respect, communication is critical. And our relationship, the first 5 years of it was in long distance. So, we had to learn to understand each other. And it's not like today where you have WhatsApp and you have all these things. We had to just talk on the phone and I listen. And I'm a person who, I'm a visual student. I need to see you, to understand you, to have these open dialogue between us so we can understand each other. So for the women who are in long-term relationships and your husband have stepped out on you for whatever reason and you decided to work it out, one of the things you have to do is then sit down and discuss with your partner exactly why did you do this. You know, sometimes they'll say I'm lonely, sometimes they'll say I don't know, I just got caught up, sometimes weakness, whatever it is. Doesn't mean that a relationship, where people step out has to end. It can grow and it can grow stronger. If my partner have ever stepped out on me in the past 16 years, I don't know. I really don't know. And I've discussed this before to say if it happened in the past and a long time has passed, then I don't need to know to alleviate your conscience. You would have to forgive yourself. Because telling me might change things. So again, I'm not saying go out and cheat and don't tell me. I'm just saying to myself, check yourself and make sure whatever you engage in or whatever you do, there's always repercussions for the choices that we make. And so when you decide to tell me, know that as it's your freedom and your right to go and do whatever you want to do with your own body, it is also my choice. So I could then say, well, this is not okay with me. But it doesn't change the fact that the man is not naturally inclined to be with one woman. It is not natural. It is not. It is a Western European philosophy. And if you look at the animals, you will see. You look to nature for all your answers. So when you're with a man and he chooses to be faithful to you, you are grateful. And it's not like you're sitting there biting your nail wondering when the shoe is going to fall, because it doesn't have to fall. But there's a likelihood that it could, a strong likelihood. So it's not that you give your man the choice to go out and cheat. Is that there are women who are available to allow them to facilitate that. So the nature, the prowler, the instinct to go out and fetch, and as sexual beings, that is a part of the thing. Now, there was a time when people only had sex just to procreate. Now, I'm not saying that it was never for pleasure, but there was a time when the man had to go out there and replenish the earth. So when you look at it this way, you're not going to get so emotional. And again, I'm going to say to you, when a man knows that you're confident in yourself, that you know yourself, that you have value, that you understand that if you're not going to be the king in my life, then you will not be a toad. You have to be a king. And so you have to conduct yourself in a very kingly way. And so the king man must have the decision to do what is right for himself. And if you are important to him, those decisions are going to include you. So, for all the people who are asking me about my relationship and what I do to hold it together, I give my husband freedom. And when you have that door open and you don't have a leash on the dog, and I'm not saying my husband is a dog, I'm not referring to him as a dog, I'm just giving an example. When the animal knows it's free to go and come, more than likely it will stay. When you have it tied up and threatening it every day, the first chance it gets, it's going to leave. Okay. So I am grateful that he has used his free will and his choice to continue to contribute to my life in a very positive way. And I try to do the same for him. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. And I'm going to end by saying it is not natural for a man to be with one woman. It is not natural. It's not natural. It's not natural at all. And that's why men fail of trying to do something that is not natural, especially when there's a threat. If you do this, I'm going to leave you. Anytime you tell people you can't do something, you might as well just hand it to them. Because all of a sudden, it becomes the story of Eve and the apple. That's how the human nature is. Anything they're forbidden from doing is what they're going to do. Does a man have to cheat? No. Is it in him or in his nature to cheat? Absolutely. But my partner knows that your free will to do as you please with your own body is there. But he also knows that once you make that decision, then everything changes. And you might no longer be a part of my life. And that is what would cause him to restrain himself. Not because I'm beautiful, not because I'm brilliant, not because I'm wise or any of those things, not because I can swing on the chandelier, not because I cook and I take care of him. No. He wants to be here because there's nothing holding him back from leaving. Stay blessed, everyone.